yourself, but looking at yourself, it's something about looking at yourself, looking at the man in the mirror.
Yeah.
You cannot lie to yourself. And that caused me to work out my feelings. And to see the error in that particular disagreement that I was responsible for, even though I thought I was 100% right. I was right. You did X, Y, Z. I know you did, and that's it. But in doing that, I saw what I did or what I could have done. And then we were able to come back and talk to each other. And don't think this was a knockdown drag out. It was like most of our arguments lasted 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes. Then we both get over. Hold on. I support you too, cuzzo. I need to get you in the studio one day. Bear Farmer said, let me see the soft side. I'm not going to look at him weak for needing me even more. There you go, Bear Farmer. What it say? Niggas lie every day, B. I see you, Rico Blanco. Shout out to Rico Blanco, man. Normally he's in here from hour one. Rico, I sent you somebody. Rico paints shoes. Excellent shoe painter. Somebody wanted some low top Air Force Ones, and they wanted the Nike sign painted like a blunt. So holla. It was kind of fly, actually, kind of fly. But
Okay.
yeah. Bear Farmer says, show me your weak side. Bear Farmer, all right, I see. But we just want y'all to work on that and think about that in your everyday relationships.
Right.
Happy birthday to my sister. That's right. Happy birthday, Miss Bright Eyes. That's right.
Happy birthday.
And that's funny, P. Men can't be the men God intended us to be to fit the profile for society views. Well, that changes. That changes what society says. Tay Grind says you got to believe things are going to work out, even when the going gets tough. Absolutely, when the going gets tough, that's when you work for your money. That's when that ain't when you buckle and fold. Because if you buckle and fold every time you got an issue, then there was nothing there. There was nothing there. We had another person DM, and they were concerned because they felt their mate wasn't taking into consideration their needs at all. And they specifically expressed their needs to their mate, and the mate would not deal with their needs. And in that particular instance, you have one person unwilling to work for the relationship. They have a different plan for the relationship, and the mate has a different plan for the relationship. No communication, so they're always going to be at odds. They're never going to be able to have simpatico. Synergy, if you will. Because to have synergy, you have to be on the same page. You have to want the same thing, which is for this to work. If I want this to work, there can't be machismo. There can't be ego. There can't be bitterness. There can't be pain. There can't be any of those things. You can have those, but you have to put them on the table and work at getting rid of them. Right, Kelly Green?
Right.
Kelly Green said, right. Small mustard seed, cuzzo. I see you. Shout out, Jamila. I see you out there. Yo, son. Know what I mean? Hold on one second. I got to back up. I got to go check something. So before we get into the controlling thing, it's hot outside, y'all. And even though it's the coronavirus, people are showing their asses out here. People are already starting to show your asses. Now, some of y'all, this might not apply because some relationships are only for the winter. Cuffing season. Because folks be showing their tails when springtime pops around. Sundress weather. Thongs sold out everywhere like hand sanitizer. Can't even find a thong at the Goodwill.
Ew.
People buy thongs at the Goodwill.
No.
But if you soak it in hand sanitizer and bleach.
No.
New York in the house, son. I see you, son. Yo, did you see that? Did you see that? But yeah, springtime. Y'all be careful. Keep a watchful eye. It is spring.
Yeah.
It is spring. So side chicks and side dudes are crazy. Summer dresses and gray sweatpants for men are sold out everywhere. Is that the summer, the gray sweatpants and the wife beater? Kelly Green? Is that what
that's
doing?
nice.
Yeah, that's nice. Look at her.
Uh-huh.
Look at her. Mm-mm-mm. So let's get into it. So we're going to get into the controlling aspect of this, okay? And controlling is a it's broad subject because it doesn't necessarily have to do with, but does not exclude abuse. Now, some people control through abuse, physical, mental, but some people are, may control out of thinking that they're doing what's best. And that's kind of like the worst, I think, in a way, because two things you're doing. You're not taking into consideration your partner's needs. You're only considering yours, and that's why you want to control it. You're controlling out of insecurity sometimes. You're controlling out of fear. You're controlling out of sometimes because you're used to it. But it may be narcissism. Now, Kelly Green, have you ever dealt with a controlling person?
Yes.
Really? Are you looking at them right now?
No.
Okay. We were going to have some side the Clean Nickens. We thought we was going to have some popping here, y'all. I don't know. She's looking right at me, too, with the side eye, y'all.
No.
With the side eye, Kelly Green. Oh, my goodness.
But, yeah, I've been in a controlling relationship before.
So tell me about that.
It was based off of fear.
Okay.
And, yeah, I mean, it was abuse. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still looking for that nigga.
but yeah, I have.
I'll see you at the Walmart.
Controlling.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. It's on though. Okay.
Like Donkey Kong.
Like Donkey Kong, bitch. But go ahead, Kelly Green.
But it was controlling to the point of I get in trouble if I wore something that he may have thought was inappropriate.
Right.
Or I get in trouble for stupid stuff. I try to, I don't know. It's so many memories rushing back now.
I'm sorry. It wasn't to bring
sorry.
anything back. No, it's okay.
I know.
But that's why I brought that up.
Yeah.
I want us to deal with those tough memories, and we have to deal with those tough feelings.
Yeah.
And I hear this thing, especially from men, but from women, don't bring your baggage. Don't bring your bitterness. No, absolutely, you have to bring it. There's nothing you can do about it. It's part of you. But what we can do is try to work on it together.
Right.
But if I want to hold my baggage in, or I want to hold my bitterness in, and then it comes out as anger or in controlling behavior, then all I'm doing is giving what was done to me back to somebody else in a different way.
Right.
And that's why I wanted to bring that up, because we should, as loved ones, as lovers, as husband and wife, as boyfriend and girlfriend, as people living together, whatever. If you're with somebody else, you're making a commitment to them, saying that I want to take care of your needs, not just physical, not just food, air, water, and shelter, but also your emotional needs, your heart needs. And we forget that part. We forget that part either because we didn't learn it. Most of the time it's because we didn't learn it, or because we're so caught up in our own pain. And so we built this wall up, and that wall is unbreakable even for our significant other, which makes them feel alone, even when they're right next to you. And we both know what that feels like because we've been through stuff in the past. But we had to deal with it to be able to find love and to be able to accept each other. And there's little issues here and there,
No,
maybe bigger issues. Kelly Green just ain't trying to say nothing.
no,
try to hold. Y'all know it good enough to know when try to hold something back. Go ahead, Kelly Green, talk about it. This is how we help people.
Well, I have been through a lot of stuff, and I just realized that I could not have been in love. I was just crazy, and I thought that I deserved that treatment.
Wow. Okay.
So that goes with, that's, with somebody being physically and mentally abusive towards you.
Right.
You sometimes think, oh, it's just karma coming back at me. And I felt like that for a long time. And I dealt with it for a long time.
And that's funny. That's a self-abuse.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny part about self-abuse is it goes both ways. Because the abuser is actually, the controller is actually self-abusing too. Mm-hmm. Because you're you're making a prophecy come true. Self-fulfilling prophecy. You're expediting the end of your relationship. The abuser is putting themselves up for punishment because they have stuff they haven't dealt with, or the way they dealt with it was to victimize themselves. Mm-hmm. And then the person who is abusing the victim, whether knowingly or unknowingly, they're also following that same track because they're setting themselves up for failure too. Mm-hmm. And that's the memories, like Ms. T said, the memories stay there, will remain. But you learn to accept what was and heal and revamp. And sometimes, that's a great way to look at it. But we got to remember, we can't heal ourselves. And I know that sounds a little off because people say, well, you're supposed to be independent. Mm-hmm. Yes, you can heal a physical wound yourself, but if another person hurts you, even though you can come to terms with it, the full healing has to come from another person. Good love, as my man Wheezy Drives Truck says. Good love from a good woman or a good man is what really, really heals that pain. And you got to share that pain with your significant other, but not in a bad way, not taking it out on them, not being overbearing to them.
Right.
Man demanding, I need to know everywhere you go, girl, because women have cheated on me before. Mm-hmm. You need to call me on your way to work, you call me on your way to work because you miss me. Call me on your way home from work because you miss me. Call me at lunchtime because you miss me. Mm-hmm. Don't call me because you're wondering where I am. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. The person that does that, the controller, is in hell too. Because you're always looking for somebody to do something to you.
It's weird because I got followed too.
Wow.
I mean,
nigga, when I see you,
he followed me from Lanham to Waldorf.
Dang.
I was like, yeah, it was dumb.
This person also took off the driver's door.
Yes!
And laid it on the front bumper. Babble. That's babble.
It was a babble. Oh my gosh. Stupid. Why would you do something like that?
But we really got to look at what, you drill into. Now, some people are just abusers. Mm-hmm. They ain't shit. And that's just the reality of it. Mm-hmm. But most of the time, we just are doing the wrong things with each other. Mm-hmm. And a question came up, is it ever too late to change? Never. If both of you really want it.
Yeah.
If that love is there, y'all could have been at odds for years. But you can literally sit there and look at each other right now and say, do you want to work on this? And the other person says, yes. Do you want to work? Yes. Starts from there. Mm-hmm. Literally, you could turn it around that quick. Now, it's still work.
It's a lot of work, yeah.
But it's work. It's work that is worth it. That's worth it to you. Mm-hmm. But you gotta go through those motions, and you gotta not underestimate the challenges of having a good relationship. A lot of people stayed together, but it doesn't mean they had a good. Most of our parents didn't have no good relationships. Not at all. Not at all. I didn't see one. Kelly Green was lucky. She grew up
I saw one.
in the Huxtable and the Winslow household, where you were one in hundreds of thousands around here. When a woman's fed up, Bear Farmer, I see you. But hundreds of thousands. But if you didn't learn, so you have to not be ashamed to seek help.
Mm-hmm.
And that seeking help is not about showing who's right and who's wrong, or validating something. I told you, or a dude like, yeah, see, she crazy, man, she crazy. No, it's about giving you the practical tools to be able to build your relationship in a positive way that will mutually benefit both of you. This is not just something you do. You just ain't laying up with somebody because you want somebody to die with. You're selling yourself short at that point. That relationship can be the most spiritual experience you have in your lifetime if you both want it to be.
If you both want it, yeah.
But you can't control that individual. Ever. Ever. Feel secure. Absolutely. Absolutely, Bear Farmer. You got to feel secure. Shout out, Cuzzo. I see you there from the great North, eh? What's up, guy? Ain't no star. But you have to really want that. A lot of times we just stay in toxic relationships. Or we make our relationship toxic. That's our frustration. But it could turn around tomorrow. But you got to recognize if you are in fact that controller. Sometimes you can have two controllers. And that's why you're always bumping heads. Both people want to control in their particular way. And it's a very aggressive East Coast versus West Coast, Germany versus England, World War II, World War I type thing. Where we're together, we love each other, but it's always a fight from both sides. And occasionally someone doesn't feel like doing it, so one wins. But then when I get a good night's sleep, I'm here to come fight you again. But you got to recognize if you have a controlling nature. You might be controlling in how you respond to things. You might respond in a very nasty, gruff way. And you've done it so long, you don't realize that's why that method I'm giving y'all, talking to yourself, helps. Because once you video, don't just talk to the camera, video that shit. And then review it later. And you can kind of see what it's like to talk to you. And if you don't like something, you're like, you gotta add, like I gotta add to it myself. Like, who are you talking to? Wait a minute. That was me and I talking to somebody else. What was I saying? But it will help you to understand the perspective of your partner. Women should do it, men should do it. And as I said, do it with yourself. Pause. Do it with yourself. Give me a dig, Kelly. I'm talking about self-love. But do it with yourself because you have to be real with yourself. And when you do that, if you realize that, wow, I do have controlling tendencies, then at that point, it's your job to then make a list of the things that you think are controlling about yourself. Now, you're not going to attack that list. You're just going to make that list. Then when you make that list, then you sit down with your partner. And you ask them in a not confrontational way, not, hey, am I controlling? No. Talk to them. Open up to them. Let them know you want to work on the relationship and this is what you think. And you want their honest opinion. And then have them make a list of the things that you do that may be controlling, hurtful, and counterproductive to the relationship. Then y'all sit down with both the lists. And then start to honestly look at them and honestly work on them. Now, everything on the list might not be true. Just because of the situation, someone might be hypersensitive. And then you may work on that. Be like, hey, I know you wrote this down, but this is who I am. This is a part of me. This is not how I mean it. And maybe we can both work to kind of work on this particular thing. But most of the issues on that list, you can work on. It's just about working on them. It's our behavior is habitual. It's like cigarettes. You can quit cigarettes. You can, if you want to shut that off. It's up to you.
Oh, I quit cigarettes.
Kelly Green quit cigarettes, y'all. Give her a shout out.
Yeah.
Been in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Shout out Kelly Green.
Yes.
Kick his ass. Hold on. Whoa. What's that? I know the signs of a controlling relationship there. Good. But we need everybody to see that.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't recognize that there are things, even though, again, remember the topic of the relationship discussion. Sometimes we think we're the hero, but we may be the villain. That doesn't mean you're all bad. That doesn't mean you're a terrible person and you're so horrible. It just means that it's just not so cut and dry all the time, where the man is wrong and the woman is right, or the woman is wrong and the man is right.
Mm-hmm.
There are things that we can do that are wrong that we can work on that directly affect maybe how that other person acts. And as we start chipping away at those problems in our personalities and our interactions, we start to create a better. Well, she quit, Bear Farmer. Bear Farmer said, bad habit, Kelly. Shout out to Maritza. I think many of us are so, okay, hold on, we got Miss T out here. To listen and not just listen, but respond and listen and understand. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Sometimes it takes someone else to show you what love or compassion and companionship should really consist of. Yes, Miss T is over here burning it up.
Mm-hmm.
But she says, I think many of us are so passionate about our own thoughts that we forget the important fact that we aren't the only one with a legitimate thought or feeling. Yes, indeed, Miss T. But that's not to say that your thoughts don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
They are absolutely 100% real and tangible.
Mm-hmm.
And they should be addressed. But they shouldn't be addressed at the duress of someone else's.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else shouldn't have to hold down who they are for you. You got to have an open. It's got to be flow. It's got to be simpatico. Like I said, it's synergy. It's the infinity sign. If you've ever seen the infinity sign, goes like that. That's how our relationship should go. It should be, nothing just happened. We had a slight little issue in the studio here. It might be a ghost. It just might be me moving around. But we had a microphone fall.
Okay.
So that's what that was. But it should be, it's give and take, but a good give and take. Like how we talked about a few weeks ago, and we challenged everybody to challenge each other to do good things for each other.
Mm-hmm.
Because we could be petty as shit to each other, and we can live all day long, but let's do good things for you. I'm going to do something good for you today. I'm going to do something good for you today. Hey, let's have that same discussion about how we interact.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the good stuff and the fluttery stuff, all right, we're working on that. Let's now start to chip away at the tough stuff.
Mm-hmm.
My feelings and your feelings. My hurt, your hurt. We start to chip away at those. Then we start liking coming home again. We start liking laying up under each other. We start liking sitting next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Or now we can now do other things to get out of our boredom, to get over our everyday. You know, hey, it's Wednesday. Let's go to the waterfall up the street.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because it's Wednesday. Even for 10 or 15 minutes. It was something you didn't do the week before.
Mm-hmm.
And we added something great to it. Right, Kelly Green?
Yeah, memories.
Memories?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Everybody give me congrats, Kelly. Everybody happy that you got rid of that
Asshole?
But dang. Yeah, everybody want to help you look for him. We all going to jump him.
Okay.
We all going to jump him.
His number is like now.
Everybody get a lock and a sock. We're going to do a prison style.
Mm.
Prison style. Hold on Facebook. I got to look at some other stuff. Now, I looked up some things on here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not all, like I said, it's not always abuse. But like I said, controlling is, I want this to go my way, regardless of how you feel. So we know that we don't want to do that because that's not a proper relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It's give and take, but it's mutual love, respect, and admiration. If you love, respect, and admire your partner, you want their happiness.
Mm-hmm.
So if you really want their happiness, then you find a way to work with that. And if your partner feels that same way, then they will find a way to work with it. Now you can talk things out.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're not mad no more. It's not an angry thing. We're not going at each other angry. We're going at this like we're looking at a problem. We're looking at a math problem. If we're stagnated in our relationship, in our life, then let's sit down and talk about why we're stagnated, and then how are we going to get out of this? What are we going to do? What do I want to do? What do you want to do?
Right.
And how do we change that into what do we want to do?
Right.
Well, I want to go wrestle. Well, I don't agree with that, but if you like that, all right, let's go out and go wrestle. Well, I want to go to a needlepoint class. Bruh. All right, let's go needlepoint. Can we stop at the liquor store first? All right, that's a compromise. That's a compromise. But you see how it's not controlling it? It's talk. Yes, we're going to do stuff we don't want to do and in times. But if your partner likes it, I'm going to go do it. And I'm not going to just sit there and have an attitude because I'm somewhere I don't want to be. I'm going to go in my mind and say, you know what? They're having a great time. So if you like it, I love it. That's the motto for 2020. If you like it, I love it. What do you think about that, Kelly Green?
If I like it, you like it.
Huh? You just changed it.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you take love out of it? Why did you take love out of it?
No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I agree.
Right.
It's all with the compromise and this, the back and forth. You just compromise. Even when it comes down to arguments, sometimes you just gotta say, you know what, I don't care. Okay, you're right.
Well, break down. What are most arguments?
What?
Most arguments. Is it a disagreement? If you're having a disagreement, like, hey, the sun's blue.
Mm-hmm.
No, the sun's yellow. And that's a disagreement.
Mm-hmm.
But what are most screaming, knockdown arguments? It's really just two hurt people trying to hurt the other person.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. You're not trying to work anything out in an argument. You don't work anything out when you get an attitude with somebody. You're not trying to solve anything. You're trying to bring pain to them.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to it's tit for tat. It's pettiness.
Yeah.
So that's an argument is that. It's two people trying to hurt each other.
Mm-hmm.
So once you get past that, you're like, I love you. I love you too. Well, let's make this work. You may have an argument here and there, but they'll be fewer and far between because you're really not trying to hurt each other.
Yeah,
anymore.
Exactly.
Right? You're going to start to instantly forgive because you realize that intention is what's behind the act. So if they did something and you're mad and y'all are at odds, then you're going to always think, it's just like black people always think, if they lose something, they think somebody stole it. Black people lose something, man, I stole that, man. What happened? Somebody stole that.
Who stole
my stuff?
Who stole my such and
Where's
such?
my stuff, man? You know, but it's the same way. Somebody did something. You doing that on purpose. You chewing like that on purpose. You snoring like that on purpose. You farting like that on purpose.
You breathing
you
like...
You your left tooth. I don't know why. You know, you will have those kind of arguments. You will have those kind of fuss because you're just mad at each other. And you're trying to get each other back. But that's not how a relationship goes. That's what people do in the hood. Two people that love each other, that lay with each other, make love to each other, see each other naked, are building a life together. When you really realize, hey man, this is my home team, you're going to stop arguing because you're not going to try to hurt each other. It's not about hurt. It's really about, okay, what's going on in me? Like someone who's like women, famous thing, a lot of brothers who DM us say, he asked a woman what's wrong. Nothing. Because you don't want to solve it at that point. You know what I mean? You want to be mad. Just like dudes. When they want to be mad, they just want to be mad. Most of the time they try to sneak out the house. But they just want to be mad at that point.
But what if a dude is on his phone and a girl asks, what are you doing? And they say nothing. But you clearly can see them on the phone.
Because, okay.
Why lie?
Why are you asking them what they're doing? You know what they're doing.
They're on their phone looking at something. You know what the person means. What are you watching? What are you doing?
And the person may think that is a prelude, Honda prelude, to an argument. So they're just preparing and they may be taking it the wrong way because they're assuming that there's going to be an argument about them being on the phone and not paying attention to the person. But that assumption
could be wrong. They just could be considered. They
Ding.
just...
Ding. Thank you. Yes, 2.
Now I lost my train of thought.
You were talking about someone being on the phone. And
Yes.
they could just be asking what they're doing, genuinely asking.
Because
Hey, what are
I
you looking
could
at?
be just curious as to what you're watching
And
as well.
and that's a prime example of what I'm talking about. If the person is saying nothing, they're anticipating an argument.
Mhm.
You shouldn't be anticipating an argument. If your significant other, the person that loves you, asks you a question, just answer it.
Just answer it.
Just answer it. So you're absolutely correct. They should not
Mhm.
say nothing. What are you doing on your phone? I was looking at porn, but when you asked me, I pulled up Paw Patrol or something. Or just, hey, I'm looking up a story on such and such and such and such.
Yeah,
Oh,
what's
that's
wrong with
interesting.
that?
What do you think? Again, that's about
That was the Gatorade is thirsty.
Gatorade.
Gatorade. Water sucks. I'm sorry.
So you lie about the simple things. See, Beth Farm, that's called drama. That's called injecting drama with a hypodermic needle the size of an elephant leg. Okay?
But it's dumb to do that because it irritates a woman when a guy sits up there and lies about the simplest things. It's like, what? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Just say what it is and then.
Most of the time, that's from dealing with either a controlling parent when you were coming up,
Mhm.
maybe abuse in some situations. Sometimes just not being able to communicate with people.
Uh-huh.
So, but you bring that into the next relationship.
Right.
So, and both parties are guilty of that. So, like I
Mhm.
said, it's people always accusing the women of bringing baggage in, but the males do it too.
Uh-huh.
They bring in their little idiosyncrasies. They got their little secrets. Women got their little secrets, and what starts as a very small spark then starts to grow,
Mhm.
and then it becomes out of control where two people are just at odds. I don't trust you. I'm mad at you because you don't trust me, but I've done stuff not to be trustworthy, and
Mhm.
it at both sides. It just becomes this horrendous pile of shit, and in the middle of it there's a heart and there's love, but you're packing shit on the outside of love, so it's going to become harder and harder and harder to chip away to get back to where the love is,
Mhm.
because you keep adding it on. But once you stop adding on, the shit will eventually crumble and turn into fertilizer that you can fertilize your relationship with, because you can build on the victory
Mhm.
of identifying the roadblocks you are
Mhm.
placing in your relationship.
Right.
It's never too late. It's never too late. And sometimes you talk to yourself and you will see if you're the villain. Y'all should have, when they say y'all should have fun and be best friends, absolutely.
Mhm.
And really, you are best friends. It's not like best friends get along.
Mhm.
Best friends be fighting and at each other's throats a lot.
Yeah.
Best friends do a lot of fuck shit. They get caught up in their own shit and swear they're right and they're wrong.
Mhm.
It happens all the time.
Mhm.
And same thing can happen with a relationship, because you got to work at it.
Mhm.
You got to work at it, but you have to recognize what you need to work on. You're doing Pilates when you should be looking at what you say
Mhm.
to the next person. A man over here going to the gym, but he should be at home paying attention. Again, it's like with anything you care about. If you care about your car, the type of attention and detail you put in your car, you need to put into your relationship.
Mhm.
If you care about social media, the type of attention and detail you put into your Instagram page and your Snapchat and all that, you need to put that into your relationship.
Right.
But you got to be honest about who you are in the relationship.
Mhm.
Because if you're operating like you're somebody else and this is not who you really are,
Mhm.
can't no one have a relationship with you. You're just going through the motions.
Right.
Okay, hold on. We got some stuff in here. Okay, here we go. Oh, Miss T is going off. Here we go. Appreciate that smile that you could so easily put on your significant other's face. All right. Many problems are so minuscule. Absolutely. Shout out for using minuscule. But because you want to be stubborn, you're creating a bigger problem. Exactly.
Yeah.
Just ask. A question is meant to be answered. It doesn't mean that there is more or some underlying thing. And last but not least, those layers uncover the love you started with. It's still there, but you keep piling on the dramatics and the sorrows of our day to day. But you know what, Miss T, and that's true, but if just because you pile on dramatics doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean you're this evil, witch, or you're this sorry nigga, dude, or whatever the case may be. It doesn't mean that. It just means that you're stuck in a rut. Mm-hmm. Like with anything, you can have a rut at work. You can have a rut in a hobby, in a podcast. You can have a rut in tennis. And you can have a rut in your relationship. Doesn't mean you're bad. It just means that you were doing something wrong. And you don't want to make it about somebody admitting that they were wrong just to make them out to be a bad person. Mm-hmm. Admit that you're wrong because you really want to focus and work on your relationship.
Right.
You really want the best out of it, and the other person wants the best out of it. And recognize that, you might have to hear about what you were doing, but don't get defensive. Mm-hmm. Listen. Both sides. Mm-hmm. The person who's being controlled, listen to why the controller is being controlling. It may be something you did. It may be something 2 towns back, 2 people back that followed them around or did something or whatever or hurt them really badly, and they haven't dealt with it. No one took the time to love them enough to assist them in dealing with their baggage. Mm-hmm. And the person who is being controlled the person who's been a controller. Look at what you're doing to them and listen to the pain that brought. Doesn't mean that you have to down yourself, but you do have to live in what you did. You got to take accountability for what you did. So number 1, you don't do it again. Mm-hmm. And number 2, you see how to build from that. And Bear Farmer is upset about this lying thing. Who lied to you, darling? We need to know who lied to you. Who lied to Bear Farmer, Kelly Green? Who was it?
Who lied to Bear Farmer?
Yes, somebody lied to Bear Farmer. I don't know who was lying to her, but somebody lied to her. Hold on one second. Kelly Green's going to talk for a second while I check on something. Go ahead, Kelly Green.
So, what do you want me to talk about?
Girl, just talk. See, I'm doing something here. Why would you ask me about something while I'm trying to fix something?
Oh my goodness.
That's the worst thing ever. So, like I shoot it over. No, I'm back. But I give you the ball. And I say, Kelly Green, take over while I'm doing something. Oh. And then the first thing you say is, hey, I know you're doing something, but what do you want me to say?
I didn't say what do you want me to say. I said what you wanted to talk about.
Please, Kelly Green.
Oh.
What's that?
Huh?
She said, baby, let's talk. Yeah. Oh, absolutely, Miss T. Presentation makes a difference. You have to present yourself. But again, that goes back to really wanting and having that open and honest discussion with your significant other. You have to say, okay, I really want to help you.
Yes.
I really want you to help me. And together I want to help us. I really want our fairy tale. I want our love story. And we can't have it going the way we've been going. So we need to strip away all the garbage. Let's talk about what we did to each other. And not in an accusatory way, not in I want you to admit something way. Mm-hmm. This is what you did to me. This is what I did to you. Make amends to me as I make amends to you. And now we can move on and not do that to each other, number 1. Mm-hmm. But now give each other, let's make up for lost time as well. We're going to get real fruity. We're going to get real sappy. It's going to be real cheesy. We're going to go right back to that puppy love. Because we got a lot of time to make up for. Look at each other's eyes. Remember what it was like the first date. When you went home. All happy. Windows down. Listening to slow music. Big old smile on your face. Like, yeah. Something done started. That's how you felt. Now that went away after a while. I don't know if when you smelt them fart. I don't know if it was that first burp in the middle of the night. I don't know. But let's get back to that. let's get back to that. And another thing that directly coincides after you figure out that you've been controlling or your person is controlling, because we're all controlling, every single one of us. And the steps to figure that out, making that list, but understanding, like Ms. T said, where that controlling behavior came from. Most of the time, it's your parents. I had a controlling mother. So a lot of those things, they become part of your personality, even if you don't want them to be. And they come out in times of stress or being upset or being emotional. They come out because they're hidden, they're dormant, they're deep. You can't just say, hey, I don't want to be like you. That's all you knew. So you're going to do that, but you got to recognize where it came from. You go to the root of the behavior that you want to change. And you may have to go farther back than you want to, but you got to get to that root as to why you're doing it. Once you get to that root and can recognize the source of this behavior, you can recognize when it's starting to come out. And it'll become easier to suppress it to the point where it's not there anymore because you know what it is. And if that's not something you agree with or you don't want to reciprocate or duplicate the results of that in your parents' life or an older brother's life, whoever you learned it from, then you're going to start to consciously say, okay, I can't do this because I don't want to end up like they did, or I don't want the same results as them, or I don't want to go through the problems they went through. So I'm not going to add that into my life, my situation.
Right.
So I got to deal with those things as well. But you got to realize your after you do all of that. What's good, Coach? I see you out there, Coach, chilling.
What up, Coach?
So after that, after you realize the source of it, and after you've talked to your significant other, and you're starting to rebuild a relationship, then we want to get into love language. Love language.
Alligator food.
Alligator food, which is how me and Kelly Green used to say, I love you to each other when people were around. Now we don't care. Love you. Love you. Not that we don't care about each other, we don't care who hears it. But love language. Love language is a very important thing that nobody pays attention to. Very strange. Very strange. That should be the first thing that people look at, because that is what the person responds to. So a lot of people with love languages, they don't, number one, bother to figure out what the love language is.
No.
Well, no, number one, they don't even know what it is. And if they do know what it is, they don't bother to figure it out. I see a lot of people we talk to in the DM and who send us messages, they just want to do what they want to do to the other person, whether they like it or not. And I just find that strange because how does that satisfy your need? If that's your love language, then most people, what they do is do that to the other person, expecting them to bring it back to them. Which, and maybe that's how the dynamics of relationships are set up, maybe, Kelly Green? I don't know. But I think we should take the time to ask each other, what is our love language? But I think sometimes women don't want to let you know that. They make you figure that out. They make you work for it. Is that true?
No, but you can be a square sometimes, so you don't.
I don't know what you're talking
so
about.
So you don't.
Kelly Green called me a white man, y'all. She said I'm a white man. And Tay Grind agreed with her. Tay Grind said, 12 noon, what are you talking about there? Tay Grind agreed with her and said I was a white man. Said I'm very stiff. So go ahead, Kelly Green.
So, I do stuff like I'll touch you and I bite you on your arm. I bite the kids and stuff. It's just, I do this. I don't know. It's fun.
Oh, shit.
What's wrong?
You may be swallowing and snorting at the same time. That was cool.
Ew.
Yes. Ew is correct.
But I say things to you. Sometimes you catch on most of the time. But
shout out to Woody Woods. Shout out to Woody Woods. Go see Woody Woods' store. Just hold on to your wallet. It's out there in Waldorf. It's out there in the Madness. Pocket Beats and Madness over there on Lennoxtown Road by the Hip Hop Chicken. But don't go there if you got warrants because it's right across the street from the state police. Shout out to my man. You get all the finest of Go-Go's. I don't know what Kelly Green is doing.
I'm pausing.
Okay. There's a mannequin challenge. But go ahead. So, go ahead.
But anyway, I do have a love language with you. But you, for the most part, you get it.
Mm.
But there's times when you don't. Because you feel like, oh, Kelly, I'm busy.
Why do you have to use the white voice?
I don't know.
I don't talk like that.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Halt. Stop right there. That is not the intended purpose.
And even sometimes I can be totally forward with you and you still don't get it. And it's like, oh my gosh, baby. But it's okay. It's okay.
Totally forward like what?
I'm not going to.
Pulling out a titty or something?
No. Oh, Lord.
We're just joking, yo. We're just joking.
I could be dancing and you be sitting on your phone and won't look up for 2 seconds to acknowledge me being there.
Because I'm just supposed to expect a random African dance to break out in front of my flat screen.
What's wrong with that?
It's nothing wrong with it, but you can't get upset because I didn't expect it. That's fine, but that is the spontaneity. We're very spontaneous. I don't always pick up on it. Sometimes I'm tired. Sometimes I am a person that is highly cerebral, so I'm in my thoughts a lot. So a lot of times I don't want to think at certain times. So I might watch TV or I might play a game in my phone or watch YouTube videos. That's a guilty pleasure of mine, YouTube videos. So and that can annoy my partner. That can annoy Kelly Green. And I've worked on it. I was a lot bad. I was a lot worse. I worked on it really, really good. But she understands too that I have to have that time. Sometimes Kelly Green, boy, she don't leave your boy Division alone. This is like my shadow. Shout out to also associate producer on the show. She helps us out with a lot of topics. She actually sent in a topic earlier about people posting their relationships to social media. And if people are obsessively posting their relationships, studies say that they don't really have a good relationship.
No.
You agree, Kelly Green? Talk about it. Tell the people.
I don't know. I know when we first started. That's when we first started dating. We would post about each other.
That's because there was a lot of hoes hating.
Yeah.
So you mark your territory.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly Green peed all over my Facebook page. She marked her territory. That's how animals mark their territory. Kelly Green, you didn't literally urinate on my Facebook page. Or did you?
No.
I used to access from the public library back then.
I did not pee literally.
Not literally, but figuratively.
Mm. But yeah, anyway, we used to post each other, but after a while, I mean, people who know us, so it's no need. It's no need. I don't care.
And I don't give a shit what you think.
Yeah,
and
I don't care.
Honestly, and that's when you're comfortable in your relationship and you're strong in what you're doing, mm-hmm. You pretty much don't have time for all that. Mm-mm. You know, because you're too busy worried about working with each other.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think anything's wrong with posting your relationship on social media. Mm-hmm. Just don't expect a particular response. Because people ain't liking and hearting good stuff. They only like and heart fight videos and videos of police harassing citizens. That's all that's hot right now in people's minds. They don't care about anything going on because most people, can't get past their own pain. Mm-hmm. They can't get past what's going on with them and what they're dealing with, so they can't be happy for you. I do find it odd though, because if you are with somebody, then I think there is an obligation because of the anonymity of social media to have that relationship out there. Mm-hmm. I absolutely think so. You don't have to post it all over the place, but if you're with somebody, your status better say with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
If your status say single, then you ain't with nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of what you say, it's what's popping on Facebook. It's what's popping on Instagram. It's what's popping on Snapchat. Because it's the DM is where most people are in trouble these days. Because you can DM anybody. I DM Mike Blackston the other day and told him he looked like a crosswalk model. And man came back and said, LOL, haters, absolutely, haters. Bear Farmer, is haters out there that will pray for your downfall. Most of your friends don't like you. There was a study on that. Most of your friends, you'll find you'll have less and less friends as you get older. Because for someone, genuine people are harder to find that genuinely care. So that's why it's even more important to cultivate and create a powerful relationship with your wife, girlfriend, husband, boyfriend. Because it's y'all against the world. It's you against the world. And if you can't do it, if you can't, sometimes it's a little harder. Sometimes it's a little foregone than just sitting down. And at that point, you need to go seek help. You need to go talk to a counselor. But you got to be honest with that counselor. Don't put up fronts. Remember, this is medicine. They can't tell nobody what you said in there. So you got to be honest. And you got to lay it all on the line so you can actually work on it. It's like going through bankruptcy. If you show up and you only bring 70% of your bills, then your financial situation ain't going to be together. Because they can help you with 70%, but it's 30% you didn't tell them about. You got to bring that 100% of problems into that room to be able to really, really focus and fix whatever issues. And a lot of times y'all will realize the issue, it wasn't that serious. It was a lot of garbage. That's right. Envy is a dirty game. You are not lying. When it's yours, you stamp it. ATA, you absolutely right. You only have to do it a little bit. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So that, as far as the social media thing is concerned, yes, you can do what you want on it. But if you are in a relationship, the man and the woman got to put in a relationship. If somebody's single, it's a reason why you're still single. You're still taking applications. I hate to say that. You know, if you're active on social media. If you're not active on social media, then who cares? No one cares. You know, I'm not on there. I don't even know my login. What do you mean? I don't even have a smartphone. I don't even have an iPhone. I just have a flip phone. Then no. I'm not going to get on that, man. That's for y'all that have them daddy issues and deal with them older players. And when they finally get Facebook, they got 100 pictures, profile pictures like this. Them older players. Yeah.
In the bathroom.
In the bathroom. Why is it always in the bathroom?
And you can see and they do it against the mirror so you can see their bald spot in the back.
Kelly Green got me, y'all. Kelly Green got me, y'all. Kelly Green got me, y'all. Let's see. Love languages. Post Malone was going crazy, but I don't really care. I don't really care about Post Malone. He's got tattoos on his face. Okay? he's a little weird. So Kelly Green.
Yes.
As far as the subjects we spoke about today, which one reverberated with you the most?
The controlling one.
Interesting. It did with me too, because when I sat down and researched this, I realized just how many people have controlling tendencies, and not all of them are bad. Like a lot of women have them, and it's actually beneficial. Okay, you're gonna have to put fitted sheets on your mattress if you want me to stay over. You gotta go buy more than one roll of toilet paper at a time. I saw something run across the floor in the living room. Maybe you need to clean up a little bit. Those kind of controlling things, yes. Yes. I'm fine with that. Controlling where I am at all times. I know where you are at all times. And you know where I am at all times. But that's not from a controlling standpoint. Maybe it's because we're old too, and you know, if we fall and can't get up, I need you to know where I was at, so you can come look for me. I mean, there's a practical application to knowing where you're at. Well, your other is.
I know.
Your significant other is, but I think out of care and concern, if you're concerned with your significant other's emotional stability, if you're concerned with not wanting them to worry, then you're going to say, hey, I'm here. I'm going to be here between this time. And if I go outside that time range, before you call me, I'm going to call you.
Yeah.
And tell you, hey, it's going over a little bit. And you shouldn't be like, do you know what time it is? And Kelly Green hit me with that the other day, y'all. Tell the story, Kelly Green. Tell the story. Let everybody know.
Okay, from my point of view.
Yes.
Okay, I called division. It was 10 o'clock at night.
On a rotary dial phone.
And he had gotten off work, went straight over to a friend's house.
Shout out to Daryl Black Coop Brown. His mother passed away.
Yes.
And want to give her a shout out. Rest in heaven, Queen. She was integral when we were coming up. Looked out for us. Two-pieced a couple of us, but kept us on the straight and narrow. And you'll be severely missed. We love you very much. Go ahead.
Yes. So I called you because the time had changed as far as we lost an hour. So I asked you that it seemed that it was later than what it really seemed.
Okay.
And that's where I was coming from.
Even the best relationship could have some garbage to it, y'all, and we're going to discuss this right now. If you fellas, to my fellas, okay, this is not the white man, this is the mulatto coming out. Now brothers, you tell your, now rightfully so, I did tell Kelly Green that evening, so around 6:30, that I was going over there. She was fine, she didn't bother me. She's like, all right, go ahead. So around 10 o'clock, she did call me. She didn't say hello. She didn't say, how you doing? The first words out of her mouth were, do you know what time it is? So anybody that hears that statement
did not.
Immediately is transformed to a 9-year-old snotty-nosed kid running as fast as he can up the street before the street light come on. Because you know, as soon as that street light come on, when you run through that front door, it goes, boom. So that's what I'm saying, Kelly. You could have put that in a different way. You could say, hey, baby, I was just letting you know. I was just seeing if you knew what time it was. Because remember, the time went back.
Yes, the time did go back. So that's why I was asking you, did you know what time it was?
You started with,
I didn't.
Do you know what time it is?
I didn't start with, do you know what time it is?
That sounds like that's my mama.
I said, hey, baby. And then I said, do you know what time it is?
No, Kelly Green.
And then you said, yes, it's 10 o'clock. And then you got Dwight on the phone telling me all this stuff. So then I'm thinking, why? I'm so sorry. I thought about it after, like, okay, it sounded like I was questioning you. But I really wasn't.
I know you weren't. I know you weren't.
Honestly wasn't.
But that's what it sounded like. That was the funny part. It just sounded like that. So what do you folks think about today? Did you enjoy the subjects? Did some of them touch you? Do you want to continue talking about them? If you want, you can DM us. You can call us. You can go on the page and check it out.
Please do.
We're going to, last week's show was up on Facebook, and this week's show will be up on Facebook probably by tomorrow. Check out the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor Podcasts, and the podcast app. As you know, as our format has changed, and as we're changing, we're headed more to a podcast format. Even though we still love entertaining you, we still love doing all the things that you like, celebrity news, gossip, and everything else. But I think the relationships is what is helping a lot of people, and we would love to discuss it and talk about those things. And we would like for you to call in too. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope was Kelly Green. I'm sorry, Kelly, I can't side with you on this one. That's right, Beth Farmer, because you sided with her wrong last week.
Oh my goodness.
Beth Farmer said it was a great show. Thank you, darling.
Thank you.
We can only have a great show if we have great followers like you. We would love for you guys to like, share the live. Go to the Impulse Internet Radio page, share it so that we can get some views up. We will have our Patreon coming up very shortly, as well as our Cash App. If you like the show and are entertained and want to see better equipment, better cameras, you want to see us in a better studio, then if you want to donate, we would love that. You would definitely be in our Blueprint. What did you decide to call it the other day, Kelly? The Blueprint Club or something? It was something. Kelly came up with a really good name. We're going to announce it when we give you the Patreon, but she came up with a really good name for the club. And we would shout you out, as we do, but we would, have all types of nice little graphics, and we'll put you up on the sites and on the pages. Keep up with us on Facebook. Again, you can go to the Impulse Internet Radio site. You can go to Impulse Internet Radio or Blueprint Radio Podcasts on Instagram. DM us, talk to us. We're here, and we love each and every one of y'all. I had a great time.
I had a wonderful time.
Sneaky P is somewhere in the world somewhere. You'll see him slide through. He might come through the ceiling tiles as well. But again, because we're more of a podcast format, then we're thinking about changing up some days here because we're going to be having, as well as Skype interviews, we're going to be having in-studio interviews with different people. We're going to get relationship experts here. We're going to get financial experts. What is wrong with my mouth? Kelly Green. Financial experts, relationship experts, people that we did actually talk to a nice young lady. We're trying to schedule her in that can rekindle the flame for a budget, any budget. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to spend a lot of money to have romance. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not talking about Goodwill thongs, but there, at his parole office, oh my goodness, you're awesome too. You're awesome too, Bear Farmer. But we want to take this it's a relationship movement, mm-hmm. and we want everyone to be happy, and that's what we're here. But we still want to entertain you. And I got a little secret. I can't announce it yet. Uh-oh. But it's going to be some people in the house. Uh-oh. And they're going to entertain you. They're going to love you.
Entertain you.
Yes. But we are definitely not Tom Petty over here. So don't think that anybody that thinks we're throwing shade or anything like that, shade. We're not. We don't do those things. We're above those because we're grown-ups, okay? But just look for the changes coming up. We're going to announce them. But, in the meantime, we will see you each and every Tuesday here, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, you listen to us on www.live365/Impulse. But you can also see the replay of the show. You'll see the replay of that live I'm pointing to right now on the Impulse Internet Radio. We're going to share it to our stories. Please, y'all, share it to your stories so your friends can see it. Maybe we can help them as well. Mm-hmm. And we're going to be having the YouTube up as well if you want to see a better, crisper, clearer quality. Let's see here. Great show. Thank you. Time clock is out, my dude. It's time to clock out. Okay, I was told by one of our producers it's time to clock out. So, ain't that something? Is it because you see something on Kelly Green's face? I don't know. What do you think, Kelly Green? Did you send them a message and tell you to let me clock you out?
But it's fine.
We'll see you next week, y'all. What it do? We always in the building. Mess with us.
Blueprint Radio Podcast.
Blueprint Radio.
8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Social commentary with the competing twists. Breaking news. Celebrity gossip. Relationship issues, and everything in between. The Vision, Kelly Green, and Sneaky P. Broadcasting live, Impulse Internet Radio, live. Bluefreak5.com. Put on Facebook at Info Internet Radio, and of course on IG at the Blueprint Radio Show. Now sit back and be entertained, cause we in the building.
You're damn right we in the building. We in our building. Y'all get a sleepy slide over here and cut it off. Please like, share, and subscribe.